What's up, guys? This is Jay from COI. So, I want to talk about my biggest concern for 2020. I worry that November 9th, I'll wake up and they will be saying, our 46th president of the United States of America is Joe Biden. I worry about this because the liberals and most of the people who are woke right now and they want to get into all the corruption of the government and worry about the climate and income inequality and all of the things that they pester and badger the Trump administration for, they'll feel like they won. Because there's so many people in this country, and it's not just the people, it's also media, who paint this false narrative that once Trump is out of office, we'll be back to normal again. It'll all be fine. Everything's going to be good. And that's why I worry about President Joe Biden. So, quite a long time ago, there was the Washington Post, I believe, broke a news story um, when they released the Pentagon Papers. The Pentagon Papers basically said that the reason we went into Vietnam was a complete sham. It was built on lies. The what is now famously known as the incident in the Gulf of Tonkin, where one of our ships was attacked by a North Vietnamese ship um, and was destroyed. They they used that as the reason to go into Vietnam. But these papers exposed the truth. It didn't happen. And I take it back. It was the New York Times. I apologize. But it didn't happen. It was all made up. We just did this as a way to go to war. Well, once the New York Times exposed this story, it was chaotic. People had kind of like woken up from this haze of the 50s and the 60s of America as number one, and they knew for sure that they couldn't trust their government. There was talks of, are we going to have to completely rebuild our government? There were people who were legitimately outraged and ready to change the system because of the way they've been lied to. And I mean, look where that led us now. And if you're saying to yourself, well, what do you mean? You're right, nothing happened. Because we forgot. We stopped caring. We had other things to do. And if you think that Trump derangement syndrome, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be any different, you're wrong. The same people who tweet and post in droves about children being locked in cages, they won't post and tweet and complain and protest when it's when it's Biden doing it next year at this time. When Biden is also deregulating banks and taking the side of major corporations who are destroying our climate and propping up the rich. They won't care anymore. Oh, it's my guy, it's fine. We're back to normal. Because that's normal. Trump is normal. As much as people want to say he's not, he is. The only difference about Trump is he'll call you an asshole to your face. Obama, Bush, no, they just did it behind your back. So these dumb assholes are falling for it. Just 2 weeks ago, and I reported it, and a lot of great places reported it, but the Washington Post broke another story, not unlike the Pentagon Papers of 1972. This had to do with the Afghanistan war, and that we wasted trillions of dollars, and we didn't try to win the war. There was no goal. So much of what they did and what was exposed in 1972 is the same thing that we saw just a couple weeks ago. 2,000-page report, incredibly detailed. There was areas that were the size of counties in America that were getting $3 million a day in Afghanistan for maintenance and upkeep. Ridiculous. When one of the generals had asked a politician about that specific thing, he said, is there any way back in the States we could spend $3 million a day in one county in America? The politician said, no, that's criminal. The general had to remind him, that's what we're doing right here. He laughed. He laughed. That happened 2 weeks ago. No one cares. There's no outrage. There's no talk of rebuilding the system. No, in fact, we're worried about a phone call with Ukraine. And we think getting the perpetrator in that situation is going to fix everything. It can easily be highlighted by looking at what posts pick up any steam. Nobody cares about content anymore. If you post a catchy meme, you're going to get far more reactions than if you post a story. Just like one that came out today, which shows that in this last year, the rich gained $1.2 trillion of new wealth, as where the rest of us stayed stagnant. Nobody cared. Nobody cares. Yeah, sure, they'll say, if you tell them to their face what happened, yeah, it's a fixed system and there's nothing we can do about it. And they go about their day, and they'll laugh at a meme of Steve Carell from The Office saying something funny. That's my fear, is that we have a certain group of people who are now opening their eyes. And they're only open to their eyes because they hate Trump. But my fear is they close their eyes again. And I think they will. So I want to make this resolution not just to you, my listeners, but I hope you guys make the same resolution as well. That you're going to keep your eyes open after 2020, after 2021, 2024, 2028. Every damn president we have needs to be held under a microscope. And it's not just the presidents. It's the congressmen, the corporations. It's the private prisons. We can't let them fuck us over the way they have been. Of course, I mean we have to change it in nonviolent manners, but it has to be done. Anyway, here's to 2020 and hoping that everybody stays politically active and politically aware. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great weekend.